Tonight, new security guards employed at Whyalla and Port Augusta hospitals to reduce violence. And emergency services urge locals to prepare their homes for wild weather.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamane begins now.
Good evening. Port Augusta and Whyalla hospitals have welcomed new 24/7 security guards as part of the state government's aim to stamp out escalating violence in hospitals. Health Minister Stephen Wade says they will play a vital role in preventing aggressive situations.
It's known as a safe place for people to receive medical help, but violent and aggressive situations towards healthcare workers, patients and visitors has become all too common. This security guard, now one of 3 across both Port Augusta and Whyalla hospitals, aiming to change that.
There have been incidences of violence in our workplace and we absolutely do not tolerate that. And so this is a really important step in making sure that we provide the safest possible workplace for our employees and our patients.
It's part of the state government's ongoing goal to stamp out violence in hospitals. The Health Minister says there is zero tolerance.
Our health workers are too often subjected to violence. They should be safe and respected.
The new security guards starting last week, set to work 24/7, mainly in the emergency departments, while also supporting the wider hospitals. Also helping to support measures including a code black for personal threats already in place.
We've always had code black response teams at both hospitals who are supported by SAPOL in the event of an emergency. So what the security officers will do is add an extra layer of protection.
Both hospitals have 1 security guard with an additional position set to commence at the Whyalla Hospital in 2 weeks' time.
We'll continue all our other strategies. It's still really important that we support our staff in enhancing their skills to manage actual or potential aggression.
Katrina Musson at 7 Spencer Golf News.
The SES is urging South Australians to prepare their homes for a burst of wild weather over the next 2 days. Damaging winds and heavy rainfall are expected to hit across the state, including the Eyre Peninsula and West Coast region.
Wild weather lashing parts of the region, with strong winds and heavy rain expected to continue over the next 24 hours.
Earlier today we saw windy conditions across broad areas of the state. We've seen wind gusts well above 80 kilometres per hour across parts of lower Eyre Peninsula.
The SES today pleading with residents to exercise caution when travelling around outside, also urging locals to tie down any loose items around the house.
We urge people to prepare the best they can. Obviously, if you are going to go outside, just be aware of the weather conditions, drive to the conditions.
While lower parts of the Eyre Peninsula have already received a welcome soaking, the Weather Bureau says we can expect more over the next day or 2.
The heavier falls are expected across lower Eyre Peninsula. We're expecting to see around about 10 to 25 millimetres across lower Eyre Peninsula. We've already seen an excess of 11 millimetres at Point of Void early on Monday afternoon.
SES volunteers will be on standby as much of Port Lincoln bunkers down.
For emergency help in floods or storms, they can call the 132 500 number. If it is a life-threatening emergency, then call 000 immediately and get the help that's required.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The wintry blast will also see temperatures plummet across parts of our region tomorrow, with snow even predicted for some areas. Broken Hill will especially feel the freeze, with the forecast barely making double digits.
If you think you've already become accustomed to crisp winter days, it may be time to think again. Broken Hill is expecting its coldest day since August last year. The mercury in the Silver City predicted to hit just 11 degrees tomorrow. With those outback winds, it'll feel closer to 5.
Winter's hit and everyone's coming in for their warm beverage, lots of hot chocolates, chais, obviously coffees.
Cafes making the switch from salads to soups, as we're told to spare a thought for those doing it tough. Love Our Community issuing a call out for warm clothes, blankets and food.
I'm having people from agencies come in with clients. I'm having people message me on Facebook and say, look, I don't want to come into the shop, but I'm desperate. Can you drop something off to me?
While Broken Hill will feel the cold more than most, temperatures right across our region won't even hit the mid-teens tomorrow.
We're even forecasting snow about the highest peaks of the Flinders Ranges throughout South Australia.
As for how long we'll have to rug up,
those showery conditions and cold conditions are expected to continue well into the mid of the week.
and we're only 7 days into winter. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, police warn they'll impound and destroy cars of repeat dangerous driving offenders. And tourism operators prepare for the long weekend amid new visitor vouchers. Welcome back. As we've already heard, winter has well and truly hit, and that's got Broken Hill's firefighters issuing a plea. They say crews have already been called to multiple fires sparked by heaters and warn the consequences can be catastrophic.
It seems like this our firefighters want to avoid this winter. This fire on Morris Street in South Broken Hill last month thought to be sparked by a heater placed too close to bedding. It's a worst case scenario, but firefighters say it's not an isolated incident.
Over the last few weeks we've been responding to a number of electric heater fires, in which case that people are lucky to get out of their beds at that time.
Around a third of house fires in New South Wales occur during the winter months, with almost half of all fire-related injuries reported in that time. Authorities say simple fire safety measures can be overlooked as we try to keep warm.
You just got to be aware on how quick fire can move, an uncontrolled fire in a house, how dangerous it really is.
Firefighters have a saying, keep everything a metre from your heater.
Normally things are written on the heaters to give you advice how you can safely use them.
We're told to check our heaters are working properly, particularly if they're gas powered, but electric blankets are also an area of concern for firefighters.
If it's been stored up in a cupboard for about 2 or 3 months, just check it over to make sure that it'll be okay to use.
Staying safe just as important as staying warm. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Hoon drivers with impounded vehicles will have an extra 10 days to pay a release fee before their cars are crushed or sold for scrap metal. The new amendment clamping down on dangerous drivers who gamble with all lives on the road.
If you put people at risk, you will pay the price. That's the message to Hoon drivers from the Police Minister.
Cough up the cash or kiss your car goodbye.
From July 1, irresponsible road users who have their vehicle impounded must pay a minimum fee of around $1,100 to release their vehicle from SAPOL. Offenders will have an additional 10 days to pay the fee, but that could jump to nearly $1,400 before police can dispose of the vehicle. Or they can pay $320 to have their car crushed rather than paying impound fees. Payment plans are not permitted.
Your vehicle gets impounded for 28 days, and unless you pay in full to get it back, then the vehicle will either be crushed, it'll be forfeited or sold.
It follows an amendment to legislation aiming to clamp down on hoon and dangerous drivers who put their lives and others at risk.
The impounding laws target those driving behaviours which are the majority of causes of death and serious injury on our roads every year.
The new measures are another step towards stamping out bad driver behaviour and follows the introduction of tough new legislation that will see hoons face increased jail sentences and licence disqualifications for excessive speed.
There'll be no sympathy for hoon drivers and motorists that do the wrong thing.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
In a positive turnaround for tourism operators, much of Clare Valley's accommodation has booked out for the long weekend. It comes as South Australia's Tourism Commission launches a new campaign encouraging travellers to visit the region.
A new tourism campaign hitting screens across South Australia.
They're a restless bunch in search of beauty.
The new slogan for those who want a little more. South Australia's Tourism Commission is ecstatic with the economic bounce back after COVID-19 restrictions, saying the state government's great state vouchers could be mainly why.
It's something like $44 million that's gone through the tourism industry, which is amazing just from this program. So we're really grateful to particularly South Australians who've gotten out there and travelled and seen our state, which is great.
The campaign launch comes a long weekend only a few days away, and many are using round 4 of their great state vouchers.
going on a Thursday or a Friday or a Sunday, it means that, the costs come down a bit for them.
Wine tasting, you've got good food, you've got open fires in, your accommodation, or very good heating.
Clare Valley tourism operators are welcoming an influx of bookings. Following interstate closures, some bookings have become available, but those interested will have to get in quick.
Restrictions in Victoria, we do now just have a few bookings that have become available.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. We meet a talented teenager aspiring for a career on the stage, and another step towards setting up a new national park in the far west. Hello again. Port Lincoln Council is putting out the call for residents to have their say in the city's proposed Foreshore Redevelopment. It's the final week for locals to voice their views, both positive and negative, on the project.
Port Lincoln's future leaders having their say.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because it'd be able to add more attractions and get more people to come to Port Lincoln and see what we have to offer.
This week is the last chance for locals to voice their views on the proposed Foreshore Redevelopment. The council urging interested parties to upload their feedback before the online submissions close at 9 a.m. this Friday.
It's important that we have people having their say. It helps us make our decisions better.
Students from Navigator College liking what they are seeing so far.
It's great to see that the council is trying to incorporate more access for disabled people and for every person in the community.
Council wanting to hear as much feedback as possible from a wide cross-section of the community.
Really, it's an opportunity for people to come in, talk to staff, talk to elected members, see the plans on what's proposed, and then give their feedback.
The proposed upgrades include new facilities for both young and young at heart.
The idea with the rock wall is a good idea. Hopefully they do add that in, because I think a lot of people enjoy using that kind of a facility.
And as to when the council is hoping to start the project?
With a view to January, February next year, we start turning soil.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Far West will soon be home to a new Outback Nature Reserve. Langadoon and Metford stations, 65 kilometres east of Broken Hill, have been acquired by the state government in one of the largest national parkland deals of the last decade. The area contains significant Indigenous artefacts and is home to more than 14 threatened animal species. The new reserve is expected to span more than 60,000 hectares. While residents near Wilson Park are seeing green, with new turf laid near the skate bowl. It's all part of an ongoing beautification project of the park, aiming to get the new grass settled in by summer. The turf was specifically chosen by the council for its durability in high traffic areas. The next stage of upgrades will include the planting of jacaranda trees, which will provide additional shade for residents. The prestigious Pro Heart Outback Art Prize has been postponed due to upgrades to Broken Hill's art gallery. Council and the Hart family choosing to delay the awards, which are usually held in September. That puts it at odds with the art gallery's closure to undergo major repairs, which are also expected to begin in September. The art prize will instead be hosted in the gallery once it reopens, expected to be in March next year. A Gladstone family is excited for their 13-year-old to take on the music world, with the teenager signing up for some upcoming performances. Tiffany can play a number of instruments and even writes her own songs.
This rising star may only be in Year 8, but she's bursting with talent. Singing and writing her own music, Tiffany plays ukulele, piano and is learning the guitar.
I've written 3 on the ukulele and I'm currently in the middle of writing 1 on the piano.
At the young age of 13, she has already supported some big names.
Churchill, Trav Collins, Laura Hill, and the people, the organisers of those events. Yeah, really grateful.
Her skills come as no surprise to her proud grandfather, who says there's a family legacy in music.
Grandma's a great singer as well, and Mum sings as well, so yeah, it's in the family.
While following her dreams, Tiffany says it's important for regional youth to have access to music lessons.
Heaps of friends that do music and, you know, they're really good, but they're just waiting for opportunities. And thankfully, I get those.
A bit of a lacking sort of situation for music for young people in the country.
Those interested in her original tracks can find her on YouTube. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll bring you the results from weekend footy games across the region. And Alex Sykes will join us with weather. Welcome back. It was a big weekend of footy across the Spencer Gulf, especially in Whyalla, with the fourth quarter come from behind win at Bennett Oval. Our reporter Mark Zeta has this week's footy wrap.
It was 1 versus 4 at Bennett Oval in the Whyalla Football League on Saturday afternoon, with both teams making a statement before finals round gets underway. West Whyalla and Maroona Bay started off close with no goals being scored. However, the game started to open up later. The home team Dragons opening up the scoring with a goal, but the competition remained fierce. Clay Crompton led the goal scoring for West Whyalla with 3, followed by Tom Quinn and Kurt Wilson with 1 major each. However, it was not meant to be, Maroona Bay dominating the final quarter and keeping the Dragons goalless. The final score, 4-5-29 to 7-7-49. To the other Saturday afternoon game, Rapina thrashed South Whyalla 100-41, while in the Sunday afternoon game it was 2 versus 3 with Central and North Whyalla. It was a close match, but the Roosters came away with the win 61-53. Moving on to the Spencer Gulf League, South Augusta dominated Prop Brisbane 114-80 at Central Oval, while Central Augusta took a 24-point victory against Port at Etsa Oval. Meanwhile, Solomon Town had a narrow 7-point victory against West Augusta at Peary's Memorial Oval. Moving over to Broken Hill, and Souths had a dominating 60-point win over Central. Cody Shome was a key part to South's victory with 6 goals. It was a similar affair with Norths and West at Jubilee Oval, with the away team taking the 98-29-point victory. Now to round 7 of the Port Lincoln Football League, Lincoln South had a big day against Boston with a 124-40-point victory. Ben Schillerbeer led the team with 5 goals. The other 2 matches of the week were much closer affairs. Marble Range took a 17-point victory against Wayback at Whangaree, while Mallee Park won against Tasman 85-71. That's all for footy this week. Tune in tomorrow for the rest of sports.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby. Showers across most of the Gulf today, and as Lachlan reported earlier, a wintry blast will see temperatures dramatically drop across parts tomorrow, with snow forecast for some areas, but more on that later. From 3 p.m. today, Port Augusta had a late shower or 2 and was mostly sunny, a max of 23. Broken Hill was sunny and reached 21, and Cleve windy and showers and reached 22. While it was windy and had showers 23, Port Lincoln and Port Pirie both had 21. Adelaide got to a high of 19. Woodner and Kadina both got to a top of 22. Clare had showers and 17. Cooper Pedy was sunny and 24. Taking a look at the satellite image now, cloud over southern parts with a cold front is causing rain, showers and a few thunderstorms. Clearer skies further north due to a dry air mass. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Wind north to northwesterly 25 to 30 knots, turning westerly in the early afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 metres, swells south to southwesterly around 1 metre. And a short time ago, there were a number of warnings current for the Gulf, including a marine wind warning, a warning to sheep graziers and a severe weather warning for some parts. Looking ahead to tomorrow, Port Lincoln will have showers and also be windy, a max of 14. Cleve to top 12 degrees and showers and windy in Woodner. Whyalla and Port Augusta both showers and windy 14 degrees. Kadina is set to top 13. Port Pirie showers also 13 degrees. Similar conditions in Clare to top only 8 degrees, and a possible shower in Broken Hill, a max of 11 degrees there. Taking a look further through the week now, it will clear up slightly on Wednesday with temperatures to heat up to the low to mid-teens. Sunny in Cooper Pedy, 16 degrees. Showers for Adelaide and Whyalla. Cloudy conditions across the rest of the Gulf. Clearing up slightly on Thursday, partly cloudy across the Gulf, a top of 15 across most parts, a max of 13 in Broken Hill and 16 in Port Lincoln and Port Pirie. And Friday we'll see partly cloudy conditions across the Gulf, except for in Port Lincoln where it'll just be cloudy. Port Augusta and Whyalla will have the region's top temperature, 17 degrees, while Broken Hill is only expected to reach a max of 14, temperatures mainly in the mid-teens for the rest of the region. And don't forget that the SES is urging South Australians to prepare their homes for that burst of wild weather over the next 2 days. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I'll be back a little later with a weather update. It's back to you, Ruby.
Wonderful, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening and we'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.